Some homemade pumpkin pie from Pennsylvania folks.
The holidays are a time for family, but if you're one of the millions of people who have been through a divorce, you know the holidays aren't always as smooth as you'd like. Divorce attorney Kathryn Dickerson is here with some tips to finding your way through the holidays. And we were just talking, and I said, don't you get tired of, dealing with other people's drama? And you said basically, it doesn't get bored. You don't get boring.
I never ever get bored with it. And during the holidays, we have the most interesting and the most insane phone calls, I think, and issues coming up because the holidays are stressful for everybody, and particularly more so during a divorce.
So without naming any names, of course, you have the client confidentiality thing going on. What kind of things are people barking over?
Well, there's a whole lot of chaos and competition and confusion that's going on. So when people are already separated and they can't agree where the children are going to be, then someone tells the child, well, you're going to be at dad's for Christmas, or you're going to be at mom's. And so there's this confusion for the child. It adds stress to the child during the separation.
Definitely a tug of war, I'm sure.
And there's always the competition. People are very poignant when it's the last Christmas as a family. And so they want to overcompensate with gifts. And the next thing you know, there's a couple $1,000s that this family cannot afford being spent on gifts. Or there's an effort to needle the other parent. So you'll get a phone call from a distraught mother who's allergic to a dog telling you that dad bought the kids a dog. Kid wants to bring the dog back home because the child lives with mother. And
oh, goodness.
What is mother supposed to do in this situation?
Christmas drama, holiday drama. You have some tips, you say, basically, and topping your list is to not force anything. And I guess that would mean on the kid and what to do.
There's the don't make this year the year that you are going to do every single thing that Martha Stewart ever recommends. Lower your expectations. Make things simple for the child. Because if you're trying to over-celebrate the holiday and throw in every tradition out there, it's just going to add an air of desperation and stress to the child as well as to you, the parent, because you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish in this ideal Christmas that you're trying to create.
And as a family, people had traditions, as a family. If you have two kids, the mom and dad, those four did this and did that. Now it could be the first Christmas where they're apart, but yet one person still wants to do all those traditions. Your next tip is to basically maybe keep those, but also create new ones so you'll cut down on this drama that's going on.
Exactly. And a tradition didn't become a tradition overnight. It was something that you did over time, year after year. And this is what you can do as a separated parent. You can say, well, these are the things. If you are in an amiable relationship with your estranged spouse, you can say, these are the things that we're going to do together.
But really, how many of your clients are in that friendly relationship?
People are actually being smarter during this economic period.
That's good to hear.
Where they know that they can't outspend the other parent because neither has the money to spend it.
Right.
And they know, and they appreciate that doing little things like going out caroling or ice skating or that sort of thing, the time with the children is more important
than trying to win their affection through toys or video games or whatever the coolest thing is that they can buy more than mom or mom can buy more than dad.
Right. And this whole, you can't take this toy to mom's house and you can't take this toy to dad's house. That's sort of, people are aware that that sort of thing is not necessarily
It can get really petty, can't it?
Yes, it can.
And you have to deal with those phone calls sometimes, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, it doesn't end with the divorce because we now have an increased number of blended families where we have someone from someone who has children from a prior relationship, someone else who does, and the two of them marry, and so they're alternating children on the holidays. And that works fine because if it's mother's children from the prior relationship, they'll go to mother's family's house for Christmas. But when those schedules combine, then whose family do you go to for Christmas?
Yeah, I can imagine it gets a little nuts, but we've talked about the communication. If someone is friendly, that works out. But I think a lot of times the kid gets caught in the communication downfall of, dad says this, mom says this, and if they don't have that friendly relationship, where do you even begin? What do you recommend?
Well, worst case scenario, if you just absolutely cannot agree, someone yields, steps back for the holiday and says, for this holiday I'm yielding, and you go to court and a judge will tell you how you're going to celebrate this holiday with the children.
A lot of people really do that?
There are people who do that, and it's always, I think, the wiser course of action, the more loving course of action for a parent to step back as opposed to forcing the tug of war over holiday, because there will be more holidays. There will be another holiday next year. So
I guess that's what you mean with your next tip about get it in writing. It has to happen because a judge signed off on it. It just sounds so cold to think that it would have to come to that. But I guess if people are arguing back and forth, it might be their only option.
Or if you have if you're newly separated and you have this tension going on, send it via email. So there isn't a miscommunication. So there isn't mom showing up at the house at 4 o'clock to pick up the child because that's what she thought dad said. Get it in writing. Do your communications by email so you have a record so there is no confusion.
That way it is in black and white, no confusion.
Right.
Might be a better holiday that way.
And having it in writing causes people to be more civil because they know that other people will be able to read what they wrote.
There you go. That's something to keep in mind. Kathryn Dickerson, thanks for sharing, and good luck with the families you're dealing with. I hope they can get some peace this holiday. Good to see you. Happy holidays to you, too. Up next on the show, one of Hollywood's hottest couples is calling it quits. We're going to tell you why Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson are separating. And if you have something to say, there's our email. Let's talk live at tbd.com. We'll be right back.